Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is No Saint Left Behind once again. I'm Brother Zahar, coming to you with another lesson. First, I just want to start out with saying, Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rikar Kwadash. That's all praises to the Father, the Most High, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shah, and in the name of the Holy Spirit. And shalom to the Akims out there that's teaching His word, you know what I'm saying, and doing their best to do it. Thus says Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. And double honor to the apostles, a great millstone, starting with the head apostle Tahar. Shalom Akims. All right, today's lesson is going to be on. Today's lesson is going to be about do the Most High Yahweh change? You know what I'm saying? Is the Most High changing on us? Because today, if you listen to these churches will have you to believe that the Most High has. Salaki, give me a second. Salakia. Yeah, the churches will have you believing today that the Most High has done away with everything. That you can be a so-called homosexual preacher, that homosexuals can be married, and that you can eat pork, shrimp, and lobster, that you can divorce, a woman can divorce a man and be with another man. See, that's changing the Most High. But according to the word, the Most High doesn't change. And also the church will have you believe believing that anybody can come to Yahweh Shah, come to the Father through Yahweh Shah and be saved. That the Most High sent Yahweh Shah to save all nations. And that's a lie. He only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And so we're going to go through this word today. We're just going to see if the Most High changes. We're going to see what he said in his own word about him changing. All right. And first we're going to go to, we're going to start out with, the main verse, which is Malachi 3 and 6. Malachi chapter 3 and verse 6. One second. And it reads, if I'm right, no, that's Micah. Give me 1 second. Let me get the Malachi. Malachi 3 and 6. All right, here I go. And it reads, For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. See, the Most High says that he changed not. And that's why you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are not done away with. That's why crack cocaine couldn't kill us out. You know what I'm saying? That's why slavery couldn't kill us out. That's why abortion couldn't kill us out. None of these things could kill us out because the Most High changeth not, and we're not consumed. That means we're not destroyed all the way through. Every last Hebrew Israelite, every last so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native American are not destroyed. We continue to be what? As numerous as the stars in the sky and as numerous as the seashore. So they can't do away with us because the Most High made a covenant through our father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that he chose us. He chose the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, to be his people and his people alone. He didn't choose nobody else. He only chose us. Let's read this again. Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So the Most High doesn't change. I don't care what you say, how long it's been. From the foundation of the earth until now, he's still the same. He doesn't change. He only had one people, and that's you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And the ones that they are calling Gentiles are these same people that's keeping the customs of the nations that they are in. All right? Matter of fact, let me read verse 7 too. It says, even from the days of your fathers ye are gone away from my ordinance. That means, he said, from the days of our father, we have gone away from his word, the ways of his orders. We're not rehearsing his law, statutes, commandments no more. We're not doing what thus says the law. We're doing what thus says our pastor, or what thus says the Edomite, the president, your governors. Because Obama signed gay right marriage, now that means you can accept homosexuality in your family or in your congregation. No, that's a lie. The Most High is against it, and I'm against it. And you should be against it. I'm going to read chapter 3, verse 7 again in Malachi. Even from the days of your fathers ye are gone away from my ordinance, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, said Yahweh of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return? So the Most High said, if you return back to him, that he'll return to you. And so when I return to the Most High, I begin to rehearse these law, statutes, commandments, and begin to do what thus says the Most High, begin to do his will according to the best of my ability. Then he returned to me. He gave me peace, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He gave me strength. He's making my dark paths light. He's leading and guiding me into all righteousness. And he'll do the same for you if you repent and come back. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And confusions of faces. Because he's not for every nation. He's only for the nation of Yasharahla, the nation of Israel. And we're going to get into that. All right? Let's go to Salakia. Let's go to, let me see. Let's go to the book of Job. Let's go to Job. Job 2. Joel, not Job, Salakia. Joel chapter 2 and verse 27. Let's go there. And it reads, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel. See, the Most High said that you should know that he's in the midst of Israel. He only dealing with us, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American. He's only in the midst of us. That's why these other nations, that's why we're scattered into the four corners. The reason why you may see the presence of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, in these other countries, that's because these people are there. And in the countries where these people are not at, they have poverty and poor. They poor. You know what I'm saying? They third world countries. Because we got to be there. And if we are there, and if we are in those third world countries, most of those people that have a little something are these people right here. Now the elite of those countries are not these people. All right, let's keep going. Joel chapter 2 and verse 27. And ye should know that I am in the midst of Israel, which is you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and that I am Yahweh, your power, and none else. And my people should never be ashamed. So the Most High Yahweh said that he's only our God. He's only our power. He's only our Father. He's not every other nation's father. He doesn't deal with these other nations, these heathen nations. Hold on, Salakia. See, the Most High is not dealing with these nations from 2 to 18. Every other nation derive off these people right here. It's only 18 nations. And Israel is the #1 nation, Yasharahla, which is you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So the Most High is only dealing with these nations. The Most High is only dealing with Israel and not dealing with these other nations. He's only dealing with us. All right? We'll read that again. Joel 2 and 27. And ye should know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahweh, your power, and none else. And my people should never be ashamed. So you shouldn't be ashamed because the Most High only chose you. You shouldn't be ashamed because the Most High Yahweh is only your power. He's only your deliverer. He's only your place of refuge. He only have you under his wings and nobody else. He's only dealing with you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites, and nobody else. That's why he said we shouldn't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed that he didn't choose them, that he chose us and us alone. See, these Christian churches will have you thinking that the Most High Yahweh has chosen all the nations. No, they'll kill you with John 3:16. You don't know what John 3:16 means. That God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever should believe him should not perish but have everlasting life. That world is Israel. That's why you go to what, the Isaiah, I think 40, matter of fact, let's see who that world is. Let's go to Isaiah, I think it's 45. Bear with me. And I'm going to show you who that world is so these Christian churches can stop lying to you. It might be Isaiah 45. Give me a second. Isaiah 45 and 17. And it reads, but Israel shall be saved in Yahweh with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. See, Israel, Isaiah 45 and 17, is that world that John 3:16 is talking about, without end. See, the Most High, Yahweh, is only for his people and his people alone. So don't let these churches, these false prophets, continue to lie unto you. All right? Let's go to, matter of fact, let's hit Psalms up. Let's go to Psalms 147. Psalms 147 and 19. And it reads, He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. See, this is King David, you know, the king of Yashaelah, the king of Israel, our king, the king that's going to be up under who you ignorantly call Jesus, Yahweh Shai, is King David. So the Most High used King David to tell us that he only dealing with us and no other nation. He didn't give his word, this word, to nobody but to you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. That's why we the only one that can understand this. That's why they say we the only one that's spiritual people. Nobody else has a spiritual connection with the Most High. We the only spiritual people here on earth. If it wasn't for us, it wouldn't be no salt to this earth. It won't be no groove. You know what I'm saying? The earth wouldn't be lit. You know what I'm saying? We the lively stones that's out here. You know, we the one keeping everything going let me see, what word can I use? We the only ones that's keeping everything vibing. You know what I'm saying? We bring life to darkness. Wherever we go, it's going to be a so-called good time. Either in wickedness or righteousness. Wherever we go, we're going to have a good time. So we the one bring the life to we the life of the party. What I'm saying is we the life of the world, the life of the earth. Without us, it'll be void and without truth. All right, let's read this again. Let's go back to Psalms 147:19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. See, they don't know the judgment. We the only one knows the judgment of the Most High. He told us to keep his law, statutes, commandments. He told us to keep them and rehearse them and do them to the best of our ability. We didn't do it. He says he's going to send us into slavery by the way of our enemy, the so-called white man, the Edomites. He said that we was going to be sold as bondman and bondwoman, slave man and slave woman. He said we just have to go to our enemy and want of all things, and that's what we're doing. That's the judgment of the Most High for not rehearsing his law, statutes, commandments. We're in hell right now. We're in the predicament that we're in right now. These Edomites, these cops are shooting us down dead when we're unarmed for no reason, and they're still hanging us in Alabama and Mississippi for no reason. That's the judgment of the Most High because we didn't want to rehearse and keep his law, statutes, commandments. Now we must return, like we just read in Joel's 2:28. We must come back to the Most High, man. Begin to rehearse his law, statutes, commandments, and he will have favor towards us, man. He will be a little sanctuary for us in the place of our captivity. All right, let's continue on. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 11 and verse 16. Ezekiel chapter 11 and verse 16. And it reads, it says, Therefore say, Thus said Yahweh, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. So the Most High said, although he put us on them ships, and he caused us to be scattered amongst the world into the four corners of the earth, he didn't want to allow them to do that because we went off. We stopped rehearsing the law, statutes, commandments. We stopped doing what thus says the Lord. So we begin to get the judgment of the covenant that he made with our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that he gave Moses to give unto us. And we accepted that covenant with the blood. And then we went off. We went astray. We started doing what these other nations was doing. So the Most High caused us to go into slavery, into captivity. Like I said, he says that, although I have scattered them among the countries, although the Most High has to scatter us amongst these 17 nations right here, we're in all these nations. We even look and talking like these nations to this day. Although he has scattered us to these nations, that yet will he be a little sanctuary unto us. That means a place of peace. That means he will deal with us in those countries where he had caused us to go to for slavery. those countries he had cast us into for captivity. He said that he would be a place of safety. He would deal with us. He would deal with us in those countries. Matter of fact, let me go to the Bible Hub and get how these different Bibles, let me see, and get how these different Bibles worded this. Let me go to the, hold on. Go to the Bible Hub. Give me 1 second. All right, let me see what's gonna come up. Bible Hub, Bible Hub, Bible Hub. Let's go here. See, I want to read the different translations to show you what this verse is saying. Let me go here. I seen one earlier. Okay, and this is the contemporary English version, which is the CEV, and it reads, but here, this is Ezekiel 11:16 in the CEV. It says, but here is what I want you to tell the Israelites in Babylon. It's true that I, Yahweh, have forced you out of your own country and made you live among foreign nations, which are what you call Gentiles, these foreign nations. That's how we became Gentiles. We was keeping these nations customs. And he says, it's true that I, Yahweh, have forced you out of your own country and made you live among foreign nations. But for now, I will be with you wherever you are, so that you can worship me. You see how they worded that? And that's what I'm saying. Wherever we go, he's going to be with us. That little sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a place of refuge. He's going to keep us, and we're going to be able to worship him. He's going to give us his name, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah. He's going to cause us to understand his truth. And let me read this other one. Let me read this this Good News translation of Ezekiel 11:16. Now tell your fellow exiles, I am saying, I am the one who sent them to live far off, to live in far off nations and scattered them in other countries. Yet, for the time being, I will present with them in the lands. Yet, for the time being, I will be present with them in the lands where they have gone. So that's what this verse is saying in Ezekiel 11 and 16 in the King James. I'm gonna read that again. Therefore, it says, thus saith Yahweh, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. So no matter where we are in this world, or in these four corners of the earth, the Most High is that little sanctuary. He's there with us. He's showing us the ways of his word. He's showing us how to walk in his light. You know what I'm saying? He's calling us back to rehearsing these laws, statutes, commandments. He's giving us his name, Yahweh, and his son named Yahweh Shah. So he's waking us up. So that's why I'm asking you, do the Most High change? So for right now, we don't see that Yahweh is changing. But these churches and these false prophets is changing his word and changing his ways. But from the word, we understand he does not change. All right, let's go to Psalms. I'm going to go to Psalms 90 and 1 right quick and see what Moses said. This is a prayer for Moses. Psalms 90 and 1, it says, a prayer of Moses, the man of God. Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations. So Moses had a prayer that he was praying to the Most High. He said that you have been our dwelling place in all generations. So in all the places that the Most High has scattered us to, he's still our dwelling place. He's not dealing with nobody else. Our peace, our comfort, our protection, our provision, our refuge come from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, no matter where you at. All right, let's go to Psalms 90, 91 and 7. I'm going to read 7 through 9 on this. Psalms 91, 7. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. And so that's what's about to happen when this Jacob trouble take place. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have people dying and falling And you can have, like I said, you can have 1,000 shall fall on thy side, and 10,000 shall fall on thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh to thee. See, when this Jacob's trouble take place, that's what's about to take place real soon, people gonna be dying left and right by the thousands, man, and we gonna see these people dying. But the angels encamp around those that fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. So the Most High doesn't change, because he said, no matter what's going to go down in this Jacob trouble, if you rehearsing these law, statutes, commandments, and call on his name, it shall not come near you or nigh unto you. You know what I'm saying? So just like Shadrach, Meshach, and the bad Negro was in that burning furnace, and then they turned it up as hot as they can turn it up. But what happened? The Bible said that they didn't even have a smoke or the smell of smoke on their clothes. They weren't even touched, because it said it looked like one like the Son of Man was in the midst of them. So the angels encamp around those that fear the Most High. See, Shadrach and Meshach and the bad Negro didn't get affected by that burning furnace, because they wouldn't bow down to the gods of Nebuchadnezzar now. You know, just like we're not bowing down to this white Jesus. You know, to this false Allah, Muhammad, to Buddha. You know, we're not bowing down. We're not worshiping these idols. We worshiping the true and living power, Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shai. Continuing on, verse 8. Only with thy eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. So when you make the Most High your refuge or your habitation, that means you're going to dwell with him and him alone. That means you're going to rehearse these law, statutes, commandments, and do what he asks you to do. He's going to be your place of refuge, man. He's going to protect you. The angel's going to encamp around you, and nothing's going to be able to harm or hurt you. And that's about to happen in this Jacob's trouble. So if you're not calling on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, yeah, he's going to change to you, because you're not doing what he asks you to do. When you don't do what the Most High asks you to do, that's when he'll change up on you. Because 2/3 must die, and only 1/3 going to be delivered. All right? But the Most High doesn't change. Whatever his words say, and that's what it say. He said, if you're with me, he's with you. If you're not with him, he's against you. And that's what his words say. He doesn't change. All right, let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 8. And I'm going to start at verse, matter of fact, yeah, I'm going to go read 16. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 16. Sanctify Yahweh of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he shall be for a sanctuary. So if you let the Most High Yahweh, this is what this verse saying, be your all in all, you know, the palette of your life, as the Christians say. If you allow Yahweh Shai to be the head of your life, and you stay in that order, Yahweh Shai, man, woman, and child. If you let the Most High Yahweh be your everything, he's going to protect you. But this verse 14 switches up on you quick. He says, and he shall be for a sanctuary. That means he's going to be with you. He's going to deal with you. He's going to communicate with you. All right? Continue. It says, but for a stone of stumbling and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, to the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. If you're not rehearsing these law, statutes, commandments, and doing what thus says the Most High, and allowing him to be your all in all, he's going to be a stumbling block for you. He's going to be a rock of offense to you. That means he's going to destroy you and put you to death. He's going to allow all kind of illnesses, sicknesses, famines come upon you, man. Disaster things going to happen. Children going to die. I mean, things happen. People going to get raped. You're going to get hit by a car. Like, you might get caught up in the car in a fire. You know what I'm saying? He might allow Esau to hang you from a tree. So if you don't let the Most High be your all in all, that bad things going to happen to you. Verse 14 again, and he shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone of stumbling and for a rock of offense to both the houses of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Verse 15, and many among them shall stumble and fall, and be broken, and be snared, and be taken. Bind up the testimonies, seal the law among my disciples. So that's what we're trying to do now. We're trying to bind up these testimonies and seal the law of the Most High among you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. We asking y'all, we begging y'all, pleading with y'all to come back to these law, statutes, commandments before it's too late, before the judgment of the Most High fall down upon this earth, man, on these people. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing what he said do, then the same judgment that's going to come upon those who had us in captivity, you have to drink of that cup too. So we begging you, repent, come back now while you got a chance. As a matter of fact, let's go see what he said in Zechariah. Zechariah 13, I think, and 8. Yeah, it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, said Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. So if you're not calling on the Most High Yahweh and doing what he asked you to do, then he's going to put you to death. 2/3 of you are going to be put to death anyway. 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans in this land of Babylon in America is not going to want to get right. You can't get right. So the Most High is going to allow all these disasters to fall upon you. That's going to fall upon these Edomites, the so-called white man. You're going to have to drink of that cup too, because you didn't want to take heed. So it's either you with Yahweh or you're not with him. He doesn't change up. Whatever he said he's going to do, he's going to do. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Everybody trying to save the world. You can't save the world. He just said 2/3 in this land of Babylon, America, will be cut off and die. He's only bringing 1/3 of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans out of the land of America. Only 1/3. Everybody else going to die in America. Believe me. And if you don't, I don't care. All right, let's go to Jeremiah. So we see that the Most High Yahweh is not changing up. Jeremiah 29. And I think I'm going to start at 7. Jeremiah 29, 7. It says, matter of fact, I might read through 9. Let me see. Jeremiah 29 and 7. And seek the peace of the city where I have called Salakim. And seek the peace of the city whether I have caused you to be carried away captives. And pray unto Yahweh for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. For in the peace thereof shall you have peace. So in these lands that he calls us to come captive to, you come back to these law, statutes, commandments and begin to call on him, he'll give you peace in these lands, man. And all these captivities that we've been in, if you was called on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, he was giving you peace. Look at Daniel. Daniel rose up to second in power. Look at Joshua. Joshua rose up into second in power upon the Pharaoh. Daniel was what? Second in the power upon the Nebuchadnezzar. Just look at all these different captivities, you'll see the men of the Most High, they're serving the Most High, rising up, man. He's giving them peace in those lands. While the other Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans wanting to follow and serve these false gods, he's giving you disaster, famine, sicknesses. Remember read verse 8 of this, Jeremiah 29 and 8. For thus says Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreamers, neither hearken to your dreams, which ye cause to be dreamed. So the Most High said, don't let these pastors, these false prophets, these false teachers deceive you. And he said, don't even hearken to these dreams of these people talking about they have a dream. Like Martin Luther King was a false prophet. He said, don't listen to these dreamers, man. The Most High didn't want us to come together with our enemy. Before Martin Luther King came in with this civil rights junk, we had hospitals. We had our own businesses. The husbands and the men was in the house with their children, raising their children. We were doing better before Martin Luther King talking about he had a dream that little white boys and yellow boys and black boys holding hands together. All because they wanted to drink out of a water fountain that was the same water. It's crazy, man. Because they wanted to go through the front door of a restaurant that didn't want them there when you had your own restaurants. Your food tastes better than the so-called white man food. They don't season their food, and they cook it half done. So why you want to dwell with them? See, the Most High don't change, man. We got to come back. You know, we got to come back to him. We got to stop letting these lies be told unto us by these false prophets, these preachers, these T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteens and these dykes, Juanita Bottom and all them. All right, let's go to Isaiah 40. Isaiah 40 and 15. Matter of fact, let me put this. Isaiah 40 and 15. And it reads, behold, the nations. Hold on, give me a second. Let me read this right here and let you see this. This is the Most High talking right here. Isaiah 40 and 15. And it reads, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. Verse 16. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. So the Most High just says all these nations on here from 2 on down to 18, these 17 nations are as a drop in the bucket. And I was counted as a dust on a small scale. So what he's saying, if anybody had a scale and you got dust on your scale, that dust doesn't weigh nothing. All right, and if you got a bucket of water, and if you drop a drop out that bucket of water, that drop that fell out that bucket of water doesn't mean nothing to you, because you still have your bucket. All right, and then he goes to say that he said in Lebanon is not sufficient to burn. Now, if you know anything, in Lebanon they have the best wood known to men. They had the best cedar trees. They had the best trees in Lebanon. And so he said that these the number one trees in the world, and he said they're not even sufficient enough to burn, to be burnt as a sacrifice, as a sweet aroma for these other nations. And then he goes on to say, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering, because Lebanon has great beasts there. So he said you can't even burn the whole Lebanon with its trees in this beast to even make a sacrifice for these other nations. He said that they are nothing. Let's go to verse 17. All nations before him are as nothing. Yahweh said all these nations that's in this world, besides you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you Israelites, all the other nations, you so-called Edomites, so-called white men, Chinese, Japanese, your Africans, you can name them all, your Hawaiians, your Australians. He said all these nations, your East Red Dot Indians, he said all these nations are nothing unto him. Isaiah 40 and 17. For all these nations before him are as nothing.